Hey my friends, Drew Canola here. I'm here with a very special guest, the one and only Lynn. And today we're going to be coping with grief. Lynn has her own personal story that we're going to get into and show you some tangible ways to actually work through it and feel better about it. So you've had quite the story. I mean, you're a Fit Life certified health coach. She's blessed us with her presence over the past week. She flew in from, is it Lakewood, Florida?
Longwood, Florida.
Longwood.
Near
Close,
Orlando.
right? Longwood, Florida, near Orlando. Lynn has lost 60 pounds to date.
That's right.
So tell us a little bit about grief and where you were when you realized that it was like time to change.
Well, I lost my husband of 32 years, and he was my best friend and, clearly my soulmate who I knew I was to be with for the rest of my life. And we had plans. We had a direction that we were going, and we knew what life looked like. But as life is uncertain always, he passed away about 3 years ago. And what happened to me was I totally lost my identity. I didn't know who I was anymore because we were our own identity together, if that makes any sense. So that's kind of where I was. About 2.5 years into it, things began to change in my life and began to look up.
So she has some valuable insight to share you guys. And if you're dealing with it now, maybe you've lost somebody or some other life situation happens, because life is so unexpected. We never know what's really going to happen. I want you to pay attention to this. Grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, and do some of the stuff that Lynn's talking about, because she's actually worked through it. So what would you say the number one thing that's been beneficial to you in recognizing?
Well, I think the very first thing that you have to do is recognize that grief is important. It's a necessary part of the process of moving on in your life. You have to recognize your loss and be able to actually, let that out. It's okay to cry, and it's okay that you're not going to be normal tomorrow or after the funeral or whatever. It's a process, and it's going to take time.
Yeah, so giving yourself time, being okay with locking yourself in and crying,
Right.
Just letting it out.
Right. It's important.
What would you say another tangible thing that they could do?
Well, I think one of the most important things too is to recognize that everybody's grief is different, and what helped someone else may not work for you. I know people were giving me grief books, and that may help a lot of people, but I wanted to throw them out the window of a moving car. I really did. Don't expect that your experience is going to be the same as anybody else's. You have to listen to your heart and grieve the way you need to grieve. Just feel it, and experience it.
So when was the turnaround?
Well, I began to turn around little by little. It was almost imperceptible, but I do know that it was more than a year before I really started even be able to think for myself, because in the beginning I just let other people tell me what to do. But I will say that something happened the month that I found Fit Life and began to focus on myself again to bring me to life. I mean, I literally felt alive, which I hadn't, since that time.
She's just signed up. Well, 17 people.
That's right.
Are now changing because of the transformation that you have gone through. So you've literally created this ripple in the community, in the world, and you're transforming people all over the place, which is cool.
It is cool.
How's that feel?
It feels amazing.
Yeah.
And honestly, I can say that I feel like my husband is cheering me on.
Yes.
I really do. I feel that he would be so, happy and proud that I have just come to life and I'm now walking in my destiny as an individual, as opposed to this corporate, destiny or anointing that we had together.
One of the big things we talk about in Activated Me, which is our mindset course, is with grief in particular, and some of these other things where we sabotage ourselves and we're always caught up in our own minds, it's to get outside of you and start giving back. So instead of the identity, it's the why identity. Why are you helping other people transform and change their lives? And when you see these stories come in, like the email that she shared with me on our way here, of a line item by line item of all these people that have lost within a week, like 5, 10, 15 pounds.
Right.
It takes the attention away from you and your own ego and allows it to be into to the rest of the world, you know? The more we can get outside our own heads by giving back, which is exactly what you're doing now, the more the grief just dissipates, and you're able to work through it more effectively. So I love seeing you do that.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It really is.
And I've really enjoyed getting to know you.
Thank you, Drew.
Jill, for both of you guys coming in.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's been very fun.
Yeah. So what would you tell Lynn before Fit Life if she was watching this right now? What would you say to her?
That's a very good question. I think I would say there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and that as you're beginning to heal spiritually and emotionally, that your body is just the last piece of the puzzle that's going to help pull it all together.
Cool.
Does that work?
Stick with it.
Yeah.
Keep going. And remember, we're in this together.